Alright, now as my subscribers know, recently I started a series on how to deal with haters. I was going to make a video about when you should reply to haters and when you shouldn't. Normally you shouldn't. But I found something very interesting. I found the story of Jessi Slaughter. That was her YouTube name. That was the name of her YouTube account. The account does not exist anymore, so don't bother looking for it. She does have a second account, but I don't remember the name of it. Basically, this ties in well with the rest of my hater series because it's a perfect example of how not to respond to haters. Never do what she did, okay? Just never. It's a horrible idea. You'll get way more haters. And, you know, I've heard a lot of people say that she was asking for it. And, I mean, you know, I think people took it way too far. Well, first I should explain who she is. She's an 11-year-old kid on YouTube. That's the first problem. If you're an 11-year-old kid, you shouldn't have a YouTube account, let alone make YouTube videos. Alright, I'm not sure how old you have to be to have a YouTube account, but I think you're supposed to be like at least 13. But I might be thinking of like Facebook or something. But either way, if you're an 11-year-old, you just should not have an account on a social networking site or YouTube. And you especially should not be making YouTube videos, because you're going to get haters, alright? And I have nothing against 11-year-olds. Except, you know, a lot of 11-year-olds are really immature. Some are alright. You know, some aren't that annoying. But, like, you know, for my gaming subscribers, you know, when you play an online game and there's, like, some 10-year-old kid, like, cursing at the top of his lungs, and he just keeps on cursing until you either mute him or he gets banned or he gets kicked from the game. Well, I mean, Jessi Slaughter did that type of thing to an extent. So she was an 11-year-old kid. She'd make these videos full of cussing. She'd talk about her boyfriend and other kind of gross things I don't really want to get into. But basically, she got a ton of haters for that. No surprise there to anyone who's even vaguely familiar with the internet and or YouTube. But people did take it way too far. There's a certain group called Anonymous, who, in the past, they've done some things that I really liked. But here, a couple of them kind of splintered off and they went way, way, way too far with this. Okay, like she started getting death threats. And I mean, you know, at that point you're going too far. Yeah, you're right, she shouldn't be on YouTube. Her videos are annoying. You know, she cusses her head off, like, you know, I mean, she's like your stereotypical annoying 10, 11-year-old kid, you know? But at the same time, when you start giving her death threats, and you start, like, leaving literally hundreds and hundreds of hater comments on every single one of her videos, that's when it goes from being just a natural reaction to an annoying person to just crossing the line. Because she actually now has been ordered to go into basically therapy because people were thinking that she was becoming suicidal because of all the hater messages and death threats. Now, her dad also got involved in this, and he didn't make things better. And, you know, people made, like, you know, people are making fun of him, too, because he has, like, this really southern accent. He's missing a couple teeth. Again, kind of like a stereotypical southern guy. And, you know, I mean, going after him, I'm not going to really talk about that because, I mean, who cares? He's an adult. I mean, you know, if you go after him, death threats are still off limits because that's illegal, so that's a problem. But, you know, if you're going after her dad, I mean, I could care less, personally. But when you go after an 11-year-old girl, it's like, you know, even though I can't defend anything in her videos, because they're just, you know, so bad and so immature. But at the same time, you can't go and send death threats. And now, to work this into my how not to deal with haters message of this video, here's what she did. And this made the problem a lot bigger. Now, she made her first video, and of course she got some haters for it. No surprise. And then she did one thing that you should never, under any circumstances, do. Video responding to them. Oh my gosh, that is a bad idea. Look, it's a bad idea normally to respond to haters in a comment. But when you make a video, then you're really asking for it. And all these people came in. I don't know why members of Anonymous got involved. I used to really like Anonymous. You see, basically, Anonymous was a group that used to stand up against the Church of Scientology, which is something I don't really like. I don't like the so-called Church of Scientology, but that's for a different video. So I don't know why members of Anonymous got involved. I don't think this girl has any ties to the Church of Scientology, so I'm not sure what's up with that. But they were members of a site called 4chan, which is the number 4, then CHAN. They're somewhat infamous for leading to this type of thing. Although, I've never heard of it happening to an 11-year-old before. I've never heard it happen to someone that young. I've heard of them targeting adults before who they didn't like, which, again, that's different. Death threats are still off limits, but I mean, if you're gonna hate on an adult, who cares? I mean, they're an adult, they should be able to take it, frankly. So I'm not sure why Anonymous became involved in all this, but she basically kept on making more and more videos responding to them and doing the same thing. You know, a lot of people advised her to get rid of her YouTube account, and that's what she really should have done at that point. Because, I mean, she's 11, I know no one wants to hear that. You know, if you're an 11-year-old, you don't want to hear it, but you're too young for YouTube, alright? I'm barely old enough for YouTube. Alright? And I know some people would argue that even I'm too young. But look, if you're 11, okay, you are way too young. You're not even a middle schooler yet. Actually, she was 7th grade, so she was a middle schooler. But still, never respond to haters with a video, okay? And she, of course, she also responded to comments, you know. Look, what she should have done is she should have blocked people. She should have disabled comments on all of her videos and her channel until the storm passed. Because once Anonymous got involved, I mean, Anonymous is a huge group. Alright? 4chan is a huge website. No one can take them all on. You can try, but I mean, you're gonna get, you know, I mean, you're gonna get beat. Alright? So what you have to do is just block people and, like, disable all comments. I mean, but whatever you do, don't make a video responding to them. That's the single worst thing you could do. So normally I would say, well, tell your parents what's going on, and, you know, mostly the reason I suggest that is because your parents will know enough not to make more videos responding to the haters. They'll be smart enough just to ignore them. But her parents weren't, unfortunately. Like I said, her dad actually made a video where she basically cussed out his daughter's haters. Dude, that's not going to fix the problem. Now, they did report the death threats to the police, which is good. That's what they should have done in that case. But aside from that, they made so many mistakes, alright? I mean, it is unprecedented to deal with, like, an entire website coming after you. But she handled it so horribly in so many different ways. And just the fact that, you know, like, she probably lied about her age to get a YouTube account. YouTube should have noticed this account, and then they should have taken down the account. That's what should have happened here. You know, instead of, like, hating on her channel, you should have reported her account because she's too young to have a YouTube. And then Google, the owners of YouTube, should have taken down her account. That's how it should have happened. Unfortunately, you know, maybe people tried that and it didn't work. Whatever it was, I can't defend her, really. But the overall message is, she did a lot of mistakes when it came to dealing with haters. But for everyone out there who tried, like, hating on her and sending death threats, I mean, you're crossing the line too, alright? I mean, just because she's a really annoying little kid doesn't mean that you can take out all your anger on her. I mean, but she did so many things wrong too. Like, once in an interview on Good Morning America, she said that she kept uploading the videos because he was, like, spontaneous. She said, like, she was angry, so she would make a video. And, I mean, I know people who do that. I don't really do that, but sometimes if I feel a certain way, I'll make a video. But then she said something that really annoyed me. She says, well, you know, it's all filmed live, so what can I do? Look, okay, if you're vaguely familiar with uploading YouTube videos, nothing is filmed live, okay? First of all, you can edit. Second of all, you don't have to upload something after you shoot it. Nothing is live, alright? And she had really bad judgment continuing to make videos and allowing comments on her channel. I mean, she had a ton of bad judgment throughout this whole thing.